If you're racing the CapTex Triathlon this year, this is actually what you need to know before race day so you can be successful. What I am going to go through are the biggest things about this course that surprise athletes, especially new athletes, to the course and to the sport. I'm going to go over some things about the swim course. You've been hearing rumors about the hydrilla. I'll go into detail about that. I'm going to go over the kind of more technical bike course, a little bit about the transition, the heat on the run. I'm Stephanie Peterson. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'm a triathlon coach, and I'm the founder of R3 Endurance. And I help athletes just like you get through short courses like this, or work towards their first half Ironman or a full Ironman. Before we dive into the swim, I want to go over a few key pointers about this race. So this race is very beginner friendly. It's got this super sprint distance, which is great for first-time triathletes. You've got the sprint distance, which is great for those athletes who have done a triathlon before, but you really want to improve your time and your comfort level. Then you've got the Olympic distance, which is double the sprint distance. Because there are so many distances in this race, parts of the bike course may feel a little bit crowded at times, but it makes for a really fun run. So I want to talk a little bit about the swim start. You're going to be assigned a wave, but that doesn't mean that you're actually going to be in a wave start. Your wave time is going to start together based on where you kind of seated yourself when you registered. You can read the athlete guide for a little bit more information on that, but it will be a rolling start from that. So you want to make sure that you line up appropriately within your wave. Maybe talk to some people who are lined up around you, ask them what their common time is, and that will give you a better idea of where to line up in that wave. What the rolling start means is that you're going to line up, and then one by one, you're going to go off and swim into the water. It may be separated by a second, a couple of seconds. It depends on what they're going to do on race day. But you're not all going to start in the water. You start out of the water and you walk into the water. No diving into the water on this. Especially if this is your first time racing CapTex Triathlon, I want you to be aware that there is hydrilla in Lake Austin. What is hydrilla? So it's essentially like this seaweed that you're going to be swimming over and swimming around and through during the race. Now, I don't mean to scare you with this. The reason why I want to let you know is so that if you are prepared for it, it will decrease your anxiety and panic when you're in the water. Think of it this way. If you were going to go out and swim this race and you did not know that there was going to be this hydrilla around you, and then you go and you start feeling it all around you while you're swimming, how would that make you feel? Now, knowing that ahead of time, you can prepare yourself mentally going into the water, knowing that it's not going to harm you. It's not going to get caught around you. It may fling around you. And you know what I've done in the past? I've just taken it and flung it off of me and continued to swim. So it's not something that you're going to get stuck or caught in. It comes off quickly, easily. You should not worry about it, but you should know that it is a factor in the swim. The swim has 3 different courses for the 3 different races. You've got a much shorter swim for the super sprint. You kind of go left and then right and come in. The sprint distance, you go left, you go a little bit further out to the buoys, and then you come back in. And for the Olympic distance, you're going to go out with the sprint, but then when they come to turn in, you're going to go further down. So when you're sighting, you actually want to be sighting for the bridge. That is going to be very helpful if you're doing the Olympic distance race. Sighting means that you are looking up periodically throughout your swim to make sure you know where you're going. The worst thing is if you are not sighting and you're just zigzagging through the whole swim because you have no idea where you're swimming. So I recommend sighting every 2 or 3 cycles of strokes that you're doing. So if you breathe every 2 or 3 strokes, that's 1 cycle. Go through maybe 2 or 3 of those cycles. Make sure you're sighting pretty frequently so you can stay on course. I want to go over some key points about the bike course for the CapTex Triathlon. The bike has 1 loop through downtown Austin. It's really cool because you're going to be riding up to the Capitol and back down, and the view is just amazing. But because there are 3 different distances, you're going to be doing a different number of loops per race that you're doing. The super sprint is 1 loop, the sprint is 2 loops, and the Olympic distance is 4 loops. Now, once we've got all of those races underway, that can cause a quite crowded situation on this race course. And that's why you want to be comfortable riding your bike around other cyclists. Not because you're going to be drafting, that is not allowed. You're not able to do that in a triathlon, but you may be experiencing a lot of passing going by because there are going to be athletes of different paces along this race course, and it's going to get a little bit crowded there. So the other part is it's very technical, just because there's a lot of turns going on, especially in those downtown city streets. So you've got one where you're making a complete U-turn. You've got other turns where you're making right turns or left turns. And then you've got kind of some long stretches where you can get some speed, which is awesome. It's so much fun. Get the speed when you can take it, because then you're going to be coming down a hill. You're going to go down around where like Austin High School is, and then you're going to be going up that hill. So making sure that you are dropping down to the appropriate gear level before you are going up that hill. Or if you're going to be changing your gears during the hill, make sure that your shifting is working before race day, because you want that to be the cleanest shifting that you can get going up that hill. So you're not losing momentum and you're not having to like drop a little bit of that speed, or you don't want to drop a chain. If you're going from the front part, if you're gearing down, you want to make sure that you're not dropping a train mid-hill, because that hill can be pretty steep. I know some of you have probably run it before in some of the marathon races or some of the 10Ks around town. People are pretty familiar with that hill. And so you're going to make it up to the top of that hill, and then you're going to turn right. And that is when you can carry the most amount of speed, in my opinion, on race day. So to recap for the bike course, make sure that you're comfortable riding around other cyclists. Make sure you're comfortable going through the passing zones. We pass on the left, stay going your steady pace on the right. Make sure that you're comfortable switching your gears before you hit the turn to go up the hill, or make sure that your gears are working really well in the middle of the hill if you're going to be shifting during that. And then be comfortable cornering, making turns, turning all the way like a 180 turn. As you come in, you're going to dismount your bike before the dismount line, and then you're going to run your bike back into transition. Make sure you keep your helmet clipped on the whole time. Once your bike goes back in the transition racks, then you can unclip your helmet and take it off. The number one thing that I remember from most race days is it can get pretty hot. So it depends on the time of day. Most of the time it's like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., especially those of you doing the Olympic distance, it can get hot. We are in Texas. It is normally one of the hottest, like one of the first hot days of the season. So your body doesn't have a lot of time to acclimate to the heat. But take advantage of those shaded areas. There are a few shaded areas. You can take advantage of that. Make sure that you have some good controlled breathing throughout your run. Keep your heart rate down a little bit if you can, at least the first half of the race. I know that is difficult to do, especially in the heat when your body's not used to it. A few things that can help as far as nutrition goes: make sure that you're taking ice at all the aid stations. I like to put the ice down my jersey or under my hat to keep me nice and cool. Water. Make sure you're taking water or electrolytes at each aid station, or carry your own with you. When you're taking in water, you don't want just water alone, you want electrolytes. So if you are taking in water, make sure you have some sort of salt pill or electrolyte pill with you to pair with that. Or if you're taking the electrolytes, make sure that has enough sodium in it to sustain you for the whole hot race. when you're going through some of the aid stations, we'll have water stations out. And what is that? He's like spraying you with water. Go under the water, do it because it's cold and it's going to help to cool your whole body down. The run course is not too technical. You just kind of need to know where you're going. It's a mix of paved on the road and paved on the trail. So it's mostly a paved course. You go through it 2 loops if you're doing the Olympic distance. You go through it 1 loop for a 5K if you're doing the super sprint or the sprint distance. Another key for keeping cool on the run, make sure you're wearing a hat or a visor of some sort to keep the sun out of you, and a pair of sunglasses to keep the sun reflection off as well. Nutrition for a short distance triathlon. Nutrition is going to be different for everyone. It depends on what works with your stomach. But I want to encourage you, to think about giving your body some carbohydrates during the race, not just before, not just after. During the race, use some form of gels or real food or gummies or whatever is going to work best for you and your body. And then also give yourself enough hydration. Like I said, it may be a hot day. Fill your bottles up on the bike. Make sure you have that. And then also take from the running aid stations. There are going to be big water stations after you come in from the lake. You can also get some water there as well as you're going into transition from the run, from the swim. So just making sure that you've got everything that you need for hydration on race day is very important. CapTex Tri is such a fun event, but it can definitely humble people if you're not prepared for the course and the heat on race day. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I'll get to them soon.